Welcome back for Keeper of the Lost City's Nightfall, chapters 80 and 81. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a chapter, and this is chapter 80. I need you to get my parents out of here, Sophie said to Sandor and Grizzle as Dex used his modified melder to seal the door to the Gorgodon's chamber. Grady had warned them that the beast wouldn't stay stunned for long. Later she would ask Grady why he kept mumbling, "Never again, never again, never again," and glancing at Sophie's hands. But at the moment, "I know what you guys are going to say," she told Sandor, "but we have to find Biana, and my parents need to get to a physician. And you and Grizzle can carry them back to the city level way faster than any of us can." "How will they get out of here?" Tim asked. "Isn't the door blocked by water?" "The fountain's dry," Lynn corrected. "I called every drop to fight the Gorgodon." "Okay," Sophie said, glad she had her friends to help her think through all of this. "Once we're back in the city, find Wraith or Kessler or Alden and tell them to leap you with this." She held out her hand and mumbled, "221B Baker Street," to call a vial of Candesia's light that Mr. Forkle had given her from the void. A Maxidium Black Swan charm was tied around the top, and she showed Sandor the facet that would take them straight to Foxfire. "Finton and Maspera might still be here," Sandor argued, "hiding near Biana." "If they are, I'll handle them," Rose assured him. "I know trusting me goes against those stubborn goblin instincts, but you have my word that I'll defend everyone with my life." "If it helps," Grady added, "I can't feel Finton. Either he's still unconscious or he left." "Or he put on that nullifying cap again," Sandor reminded him. "Please," Sophie begged, "we can't waste time arguing." Dex and Fitz were already running their hands over the walls, desperately trying to find whatever door Biana had used to get upstairs. "My parents need protection way more than I do," she added. "Please, if you really want to help me, get them somewhere safe so I can concentrate." Sandor gritted his teeth, looking ready for a long fight, but he told her, "Don't make me regret this." He adjusted his hold on her father as Keith handed Sophie's mother to Grizzle, and both bodyguards ordered everyone to leave Atlantis the second they found Biana. Sophie promised they would, barely managing to add a hushed "thank you" before the goblins turned and sprinted for the doorway. "They're going to be okay," Keith whispered, reaching for Sophie's still gloveless hand and sending one of his calming mental breezes. She clung to the blue rush, reminding herself that Sandor and Grizzle could handle anyone they ran into on their way out. And Elwyn had saved her from fading, saved Sandor after he'd been hurled off a cliff, saved Keith after he'd been gutted by King Dimitar, and the Watchers would take care of the rest. Then she forced herself to turn back to her friends. Tam and Lynn had joined Fitz and Dex in scouring the halls, and Sophie closed her eyes and stretched out her consciousness. "I can feel Biana up there," she told them. "Her thoughts are weak, but it's definitely her, so once we find the stairs, I should be able to track her." "Her scent is strongest over here," Ro called, waving them over to where the hall curved. Lynn was the one who spotted the thin, palm-length slit tucked among the gold filigree painted on the wall, and when she slipped her fingers in, the wall tilted ever so slightly. The light shifted, revealing an arched opening behind them, and through the gap was a winding staircase. "I don't understand these illusions," Keith mumbled, shoving his arm through the archway, even though the wall had been solid a few seconds earlier. "Who cares?" Fitz snapped. "What are we waiting for?" Ro grabbed Fitz's shirt to stop him from heading up the stairs. "I'm going first, and none of you are going to follow until I've given the all-clear. Got it?" She didn't let go until Fitz nodded. Then she was gone, squeezing her muscular body into the narrow stairway and winding up and up and up. "Biana has to be hurt," Fitz said, tearing his fingers through his hair. "Otherwise she would have come back by now. Or she's a prisoner." "We'll get her back," Sophie promised, wishing she could reach for his hand, but she had to save her enhancing energy for when they might actually need it. "We got Foster's parents back, didn't we?" Keith added. No one wanted to mention how injured they'd been. "Okay," Ro whispered down. "Head on up and get ready for some serious weirdness." Weirdness didn't begin to cover it. The attic-styled space was part theater catwalk, part funhouse maze, a tangle of wooden walkways and dangling lights and silks, lined with mirrors in every shape and size. Everything was attached by gossamer threads to an elaborate system of pulleys and hooks that dangled from the sloped ceiling. It was like stepping into a magician's workshop. "There's no motor for any of this," Dex mumbled, crouching to examine one of the larger mirrors. I wonder if they... His question trailed off when he spotted a splash of red near his foot. Ro nodded and pointed ahead to another splatter, and another, a gruesome trail leading into the shadows. It's not just Bianna's, Ro whispered as Sophie clung to a nearby railing, trying to clear her spinning head. I'm picking up Vesper's scent too, so Bianna must have given as good as she got. None of them found that comforting. Does that mean Vesper is still here? Tam asked, keeping his voice as low as possible. And what about Finton? I'm not feeling either of them, Grady murmured. Sophie stretched out her consciousness again. Neither am I. But that could be a trick, Dex reminded them. I think I smell Finton, Rose said, pulling herself up to a higher catwalk and sucking in several deep breaths. I can't tell how fresh the trail is, but he went that way. The narrow ledge she pointed to went in the opposite way from Bianna's red-stained trail, disappearing around a sharp curve. You're sure? Grady asked, lowering himself onto the rickety walkway. Sophie grabbed his sleeve. What are you doing? He leaned closer. If Finton's still here, he's either knocked out or planning something. Either way, someone needs to check. You can't go alone, she whispered. He brushed a strand of hair off her forehead. I'll be fine. It's you I'm worried about. Stay behind Ro, do everything she tells you, and get out of here as soon as you find Bianna. You can't handle Finton by yourself, Sophie argued. Look at how much he wiped you out last time. I'll go with him, Marilla offered. Seeing me spark a few flames might distract Finton enough for Grady to get control of his mind. I'm not putting you in that kind of danger, Grady told her. It's not like the other path is any safer, Marilla pointed to the red splatters around their feet. The girl has a point, Ro admitted as Marilla hopped down onto the same platform as Grady. Sophie hated this new plan with every fiber of her being, but if they had a chance to find Finton, they had to take it. Be careful, she begged both of them. Right back at you, Grady told her, kissing her cheek before leading Marilla down the creaky path. Sophie's group went the opposite way, and with every step she expected to hear Grady's scream or Finton's taunts or the crackle of flames, but the only sounds were from their feet scraping along the splintered floor as they struggled to follow Bianna's bloody trail through the maze of mirrors and ledges and sharp curves they couldn't see until they'd nearly fallen off an invisible edge. And then, in the middle of a wide platform, with a steep drop on one side and mirrors lining the other, the trail just ended. Do you think she... Tam didn't finish the question, but the way he peered over the edge said enough. Easy there, Rose said as Fitz sank to his knees. I can still smell her. I can feel her too, Sophie added. Her thoughts are blurred, but they're close. Then where is she? Fitz snapped. There must be another trick, Lynn assured him, reaching for his hand. The illusions seemed to be at the angle of the light, Dex said slowly. So I wonder... He studied one of the mirrors hanging from a gossamer thread and tilted the glass enough to send light bouncing toward a different mirror. Can someone tilt that one down a little? Keith did as he asked, and the light refracted toward the edge of a new mirror, then bounced to another, and one of the mirrors seemed to vanish, revealing a cramped cubby of space. And tucked into the shadows was Bianna, passed out in a pool of blood. Chapter 81. Glass crunched underneath Fitz's knees as he knelt next to Bianna. Bianna, can you hear me? He shook her shoulders and her head lolled to the side, giving them a better glimpse of the spiderweb of red gashes covering the left side of her face. Thick shards of glass jutted out of her arm, hip, and leg along that same side of her body, as if she'd been slammed into a mirror and shredded as it shattered. Bianna, Fitz tried again, choking on the word. Do you think they drugged her? Sophie couldn't tell, but judging by how red was splashed around them, I think she might have passed out from the blood loss. She's breathing, Keith added, placing a hand on Fitz's shoulder. As long as she's hanging on, Elwyn can fix the rest. How are we supposed to get her to him? Fitz asked. The guilt nearly knocked Sophie over when she realized she'd given Sandor and Grizzle their only path to Foxfire. Now they'd be stuck dragging Bianna through a whole stupid city to get to the stupid bubble wand statue, to use the stupid geyser to leap her home. I'm sorry, she whispered, rubbing her knotted emotions to hold them together. I should have had Sandor and Grizzle leave. I shouldn't have had Sandor and Grizzle leave until we found her. Yes, you should have, Keith told her. Seriously, Foster, you had to get your parents out of here. We all know that, don't we? He nudged Fitz until Fitz nodded. We'll figure something out. Like what? Fitz wanted to know. What about Livy? Lynn suggested, and the name felt like a lifeline, dragging Sophie out of her panic. You're right, she breathed. We just need to get Bianca to Quinlan's apartment. Do we even know how to get there? Fitz asked. Sophie hated having to tell him no, especially when Fitz's features tightened into grim lines. But Alden knows, Keith reminded them. And he's probably still in Atlantis. Or, if not, we'll hail him and ask for directions. Fitz sucked in a shaky breath. We'll have to make it work. We should bind her wounds before we move her, Rose said, already slashing thick strips off the bottom of Bianca's never-seen cloak to use for bandages. Do we really have time for that? Tam asked, squinting at the shadows. Vespera could still be here. Her scent is fading, Ro told him. I think she's gone. Besides, we need to stop this girl from losing any more blood. I have these, Sophie added, pulling a handful of panax blossoms out of her pocket. The flowers were shriveled and crushed, but she still placed a few petals in Bianca's tongue and pressed the rest into the worst for wounds as Ro made quick work of wrapping Bianca's injuries. I guess that'll have to be good enough, Rose said, scooping Bianca up, careful not to press on any of the glass sticking out of her, as they slowly backtracked toward the entrance. Can someone use their fancy powers to get a message to Grady? He should know we're headed out so he doesn't count on us for help. Sophie did as Ro asked, but couldn't help admitting, I hate leaving him and Morella here alone. I don't like it either, Ro told her, but Bianca's moan cut her off. Fitz grabbed his sister's hand, tears streaming down his cheeks as Bianca's eyes fluttered open. Fitz. Bianca's voice was thin as paper, and her lips twisted as she scraped her tongue against her teeth. You're feeling the panics, petals, Sophie explained. Try to swallow them. I think they're helping. Bianca nodded, then winced from the motion, and winced even harder when she choked down the blossoms. But she still managed to rasp a soft, thank you. Sophie's eyes burned. We should be thanking you. I don't know what would have happened if we wouldn't have gotten Finton's thinking cap off. Bianca tried to smile, but the pain seemed to steal her breath. So, I guess I'm the one doing the almost dying this time. Good thing it was almost, Keith told her. Bianca's eyes shifted to Fitz. How bad am I? I mean, I can feel a lot of it, but... When he didn't answer, she turned to Sophie, and then to Dex, then Tam, then Litz, then Lynn, and finally let out a soft breath. Never mind, I don't want to know. It's going to be fine, Keith promised, with way more confidence than Sophie could manage. Livy will take care of it, and at least you won't have to tell people you got stabbed by a giant bug like some people. He hooked a thumb towards Fitz. Fitz didn't smile. Why didn't you tell us what you were doing? He snapped at his sister. Because there wasn't time. I barely made it out the door, and none of you could have gone with me anyway. I could have, Tam argued. They would have noticed if two of us went missing. She glared at Fitz. Stop looking at me like that. We all take risks. You took on 2 leaders of the Neverseen by yourself, he growled back. Yeah, well, I'm fine. She reached for his other hand, turning green when she saw the shards sticking out of her arm. She looked away. Where are Grady and Morella? Did they go off to Vespera? They went after Finton, Sophie told her. Ro could smell him somewhere in the halls. So no one went after Vespera? Bianca asked. Ro shook her head. Pretty sure she's long gone, judging by her scent. Bianca struggled to sit taller in Ro's arms. But I know where she went. I heard her hail Rye after she lost track of me in the mirrors. She told him she'd be waiting for him by the promenade, and she seemed frustrated when he said he was going to take a little longer to get there. The promenade? Dex asked. The one by the main canal? That's what I'm assuming, Bianca said. It sounded like she was going to walk there. But why? Tam wondered. That's one of the busiest spots in Atlantis. Maybe that's why, Lynn suggested. Maybe she's trying to hide in the crowd. Why wouldn't she leave the city? Sophie asked. She might not be able to, Dex reminded her. The guys are restricted by registry pendants, and maybe she doesn't have any light from the unmapped stars to use instead. Ro groaned. I know those looks, and you can all forget it. We're getting this girl medical help, not going to some sparkly promenade to hunt down Lady Creeperton. That's not a 7-person job, Bianca argued. It is as long as I'm the one carrying you, Ro told her. No one's going after Vespera without me. Then have someone else carry me, Bianca insisted, or leave me here. Fitz snorted. Yeah, that's not happening. Why not? I'm fine. Fine, he repeated. Have your faces shredded. Bianca winced. I know, she whispered. All I'm saying is, let's make it worth it, okay? Don't waste everything I did by giving up now. Not when we have a real chance to stop her. I could carry you to Livy, Dirks offered in the silence that followed. That way Ro could go with everyone else. I doubt you'll be needing a technopath. It's a good plan, Keith jumped in, but you should stay with them too, Fitz. You guys will move way faster if you carry Bianca together, and you'll have twice the backup if you run into any problems. Maybe Banks Boy should stay with you too. You're going to need my shadows to slip through the city unnoticed, Tam argued. Plus, Rye's going to be there, so there could be a force field. And I'm not leaving Lynn alone in Atlantis. And don't roll your eyes, he told his sister. I know, you have amazing control, but I'm your brother. It's my job to have your back, even if you think you don't need it. I love how you're talking about this like it's a done deal, Rose said. I swore to Sandor I'd protect all of you. As long as you stay with Foster, you won't have to face the wrath of Gigantor, Keith argued. And if there's a chance we can grab Vespera, we have to try. Rose sighed, shifting to study Bianca. Are you really okay with this? I'll be in good hands, Bianca said, offering a weak smile at Dex and her brother. Then I'm going to leave it up to the Moonlark, Rose decided, turning to Sophie. That way you get to take the heat if things turn ugly, and keep in mind they probably will. Sophie tugged hard on her eyelashes. Dividing the group again probably wasn't a smart idea, and taking on Vespera in a public place definitely wasn't, but she kept thinking about what Vespera had said about the innocent people she'd make suffer to punish Sophie for saving her friends and family. Let's go get her. That concludes chapters 80 and 81. I'll see you tomorrow for 82 and 83. Bye!